So, Game Awards 2025 has come and gone, and a lot of people had some things to say about the final reveal. Some people have even said it was one of the worst final world premieres at the Game Awards of all time. But was it? Well, that's what I wanted to find out. So today I looked through every single Game Awards hosted by Jeff Keighley from 2014 to 2025 to see all the final world premieres that the show had to offer and see just how good they were. So let's kick things off with the first one we're looking at is 2014. This is when Jeff Keighley took the reins of the Game Awards and molded it into what we know it as today. Prior years, it would have been on spike to mixed results. Say what you want about Jeff Keighley, but I'd rather take his Game Awards over Madden winning Game of the Year. But that's not what we're here to talk about. What was the final reveal for Game Awards 2014? Breath of the Wild gameplay. This is monumental for multiple different reasons. Let's start with the first one. The fact that this was the first time we'd seen gameplay of Breath of the Wild. And second, besides a certain reveal we'll talk about in a moment, this would be one of the only times Nintendo actually announces a major thing at the Game Awards. Nowadays, the only thing you're gonna get from them is Nintendo Switch has games. This gameplay is so early, they even show a feature that they were going to implement with this map on the gamepad and you were able to interact with it with the TV. That never happened, but the fact we got to see that is cool. I don't think there's much more to say here, man. We're looking at the future Game of the Year winner before our very eyes. This is S tier. Twenty 2015's final reveal for the Game Awards was The Walking Dead: Michonne. This was back when Telltale was printing fat stacks with the Walking Dead Telltale series. Insanely popular. So looking back, I imagine a lot of people would be excited for another Walking Dead Telltale thing. This came in right after Season 2, right before Season 3, so this is like pinnacle point. We're still very hot on the Walking Dead Telltale series. Now this is just a side story. This has nothing to do with what Clementine is doing. Michonne is an actual character from the comics and later would get adapted into the TV show. So if you're a fan of one of those two things and you're a fan of the Telltale games, I can see you getting a kick out of this reveal. Me personally, if I'm back in time watching this reveal, I wouldn't care. But I can understand the hype for this reveal. I'm gonna put this one in B tier. This is a pretty solid reveal to end the Game Awards. 2016 Game Awards ends with Mass Effect Andromeda. I don't think I need to sit you down by the campfire and tell you the horror stories that were Mass Effect Andromeda. We've all seen the gameplay, we've seen the bugginess, we've seen the graphics. It looks like doo-doo, it's ass, everyone knows about this. But back in 2016, people were pretty excited for this one. I mean, it looks solid all things considered. General consensus from what I'm seeing for this trailer was that the gameplay looks solid enough, but you're looking at the animations, you're looking at the faces, and oh my gosh, she's ugly! And even rewatching this trailer, yeah, if you look at the faces, they don't really change on release. This is pretty much what you're gonna get when the game comes out, and it's not pretty. So on one hand, I gotta give you props. You're showing gameplay. A lot of trailers that end the Game Awards are not gonna do this, but this one does. And I gotta give props where props are due. They show gameplay. I know what the game's gonna at least play like. However, the game still looks like trash. It is not a pretty looking game even in this trailer. I do not like the way a lot of things look. The animations are kinda a lot of things look a little weird. Even the landscape, it just doesn't look right, dude. I mean, the trailer just doesn't give you a lot of confidence. Even a lot of fans in the comments were going, my boy, gameplay still looks solid, but oh my gosh, brother. Ugh. Ugh, this game looks nasty. I am going to give this a C tier. I know, I hear you. This game's doo-doo. Why are you giving it a C tier? Believe me, brother. If this trailer did not have gameplay, D tier all the way to the depths with you. But the gameplay is here, and the gameplay looks fine. I think you can still have fun with this if you're a Mass Effect fan. I think Mass Effect fans can still get a kick out of this one. Minus, of course, all the glitches that came out later. Which brings me to why it's in C tier. Because the animations, heard it. The graphics, heard it. And the game releasing, definitely hurts it. I see this game situation as an even worse version of what Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was going through. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, when it was shown off, looked horrendous. Dante looked ugly as hell, and Chun-Li looked unrecognizable. But dang, that gameplay was solid. The gameplay was solid. It was still Marvel vs. Capcom, and it had a lot of unique elements that it added in. You can still play that game as an MVC fan and still get a kick out of it. You just won't have X-Men, and you just won't like how the game looks. The major difference, of course, being Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite did not glitch as hard as this game. Yeah, it's going in C tier. Can we just give a round of applause to the gameplay? It's the only reason it's a C tier. It's the only reason. The 2017 Game Awards ends with Metro Exodus. If you were to strap me down to a chair, gun to my head, and told me, name your favorite Metro moments, I go, Metro Boom, Mega Boom. And then you go, no, I'm talking about the game series. I get shot. Metro Exodus is the third game in the Metro series. It's a first-person shooter, and it's got this nice winter environment look to it, but also this like dark, bleak, and filled with monsters. I mean, it's got an interesting look, but there's no gameplay, so I'm not quite sure what to make of it. I feel like I just say the same thing if I was watching it back in 2017, but I will give it props. It is an established series, and looking at the other two games, you can kind of get an idea what this one's going to be. So maybe they didn't have to show gameplay for this one. They just need to show you all of the environments and stuff, what the game would look like, and they'd be like, are you excited? Are you hyped? And seemed like it. A lot of fans were very interested in this one. A lot of fans seem to be very pumped for this one, and this one did pretty well, all things considered. Lots of positive reception. I give this one a B. I think it's a B tier. I feel like, again, this is another game that isn't really my niche, but I can understand how this is a big reveal. "2018's final world premiere was Joker's reveal in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Let me paint the scene for you. It's December 2018. You're excited because Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, one of the most highly content-packed Smash games, is about to release the next day. You are excited. You might even be in the midnight release line waiting to get your hands on the game. And then the Game Awards comes on. I mean, you're not expecting any news to come out. All the characters have been revealed, all the content's revealed. You're about to get your hands on the game. They're not about to announce anything new for Super Smash Bros. I mean, they did mention the DLC, but they're not going to announce any DLC at the Game Awards. That's just not going to happen. So you're watching just to see what's going on at the Game Awards. And then, towards the end of the show, the stage starts to glitch out. Jeff's confused. He's turning around. What's going on? And all of a sudden, you see Joker from Persona 5. If you don't know who Joker Persona 5 is, you're probably thinking, who the hell is this mascot on my screen? Of course, Persona fans were going to be hyped for whatever Persona had to offer, but most people saw this as, this is just one of those Persona spin-offs for those freaking JRPG fans. Persona 5, racing all afternoon. This is nothing. But then the trailer keeps going, and you hear the characters mentioning they've been invited to something. And then this.
What? Smash Bros? Is this for real?
Smash Bros. Had just revealed their first Fighter Pass character at the Game Awards. And you never saw it coming.
You never see it coming.
And I can actually talk about this reveal because this is the first Game Awards I actually watched. I remember watching this one, seeing Ultima Online 3 getting announced, and Mortal Kombat 11. Two very hyped games. But this moment, oh my gosh, this moment. At this moment in time, the only time I'd heard of Persona 5 or Joker was from Alpharad, when he made his video talking about his most wanted characters for Smash Ultimate and talking about Joker Persona 5.
Joker from Persona 5 is now my #1 most wanted character for Smash Ultimate. Alpharad, what changed? You didn't want him in your last list. Well, I didn't beat Persona 5 back then. I'm a different person now, and I want Joker in the game.
And I was just thinking, okay, well, I mean, He just seems kind of cool. I mean, I don't know who that is. I don't know if he's ever gonna get in the game, but I mean, I guess he's alright looking. And then they show this trailer, and I'm thinking, well, damn, maybe I gotta play the game. I mean, if he's getting in Smash Bros after that video, maybe he's onto something. Maybe Alpharad's onto something. And that would lead to me finding one of my favorite video game series of all time. It started right here. If Joker had not gotten in Smash Bros, I don't know how I would have interacted with this series. I don't even know if I've ever played it, but this is the moment. This pretty much is the genesis. And it was done in such a unique way. It wasn't just a Smash reveal. It was done in a way like Joker was invading the Game Awards, like he breaks into palaces in the game. It was never replicated. No one ever replicated this type of trailer. And I love it for that. This is one of the best Smash reveals, one of the best Game Award reveals. This is S tier. I don't need to say anything else. I know I'm heavily biased, but this is S tier. It's amazing. Fast and Furious Crossroads was the final reveal at the Game Awards 2019. It's a licensed title based off the hit series Fast and Furious. It was ass. How do you go from one of the greatest Game Award reveals of all time to one of the worst in the next year? Please, be honest with me. Fast and Furious fans, were you hype? Is this your go? Like, were you popping off? Yeah! I know what I'm pre-ordering tonight! Like, please tell me. Because when I'm watching this trailer, I'm looking at the graphics. This looks so bad. This ended the Game Awards. And like, I get it. Alright, I get it. Fast and Furious is a very, very popular series. Having Vin Diesel at the Game Awards is monumental. It's huge. Like, he's a big popular star. This didn't need to end the show. I understand, like, Mass Effect Andromeda, like, people were hyped, and then the game came out. We're looking at this, no one's hype. And then the game comes out, and no one's hype. Like, and as if it couldn't get any worse, even if you were the hugest Fast and Furious fan the world has ever seen, to the point where you would play anything they put out, no matter how bad it looks, you can't even play it anymore. The game got delisted. You ended the Game Awards with a game I can't even play. D tier. We're done talking about it. It's D tier. '20 Game Awards ends with Mass Effect will continue. Is the Mass Effect in the room with us right now? Okay, let's dissect this. First off, there's no gameplay. So I don't even know what to make of this trailer. I know other trailers that have ranked pretty high, like Metro Exodus, also didn't have gameplay, but those were all in-game shots. At least I can see what the game looks like. At least there's work done. And remember that other cold water splash that they gave us? Mass Effect Andromeda? Terrible game, I know. But at least its final reveal had gameplay. Now let's talk about that for a bit. I would maybe let this slide if your last game was good. We all know how that went. And I want to compare this to Elder Scrolls 6's reveal, because they're pretty much the same type of reveal. Cinematic shots, and then title card. But at least Elder Scrolls 5 was praised. At least I have some idea that maybe it will be good like the last game. But your last game was not good. So I'm kind of just having the trust that you guys are going to lock in. Oh, and by the way, don't think that this is me praising the Elder Scrolls 6 trailer. It's also bad. I don't think this reveal is as bad as Fast and Furious Crossroads. I am going to give it C tier, but it's low C tier. I don't think it deserves D tier. The only reason I don't think it deserves D tier is because the game's not out yet. So I really can't judge like how good this reveal was in retrospect, because I don't honestly know what this game is going to be like. So I guess until that day comes, it gets low C tier. Oh my gosh, Jeff, what are we doing? 2021 Game Awards ends with The Matrix Awakens. This isn't really a game. This is more of a tech demo. A tech demo is ending the Game Awards. This was a tech demo for Unreal Engine 5. It was to showcase the power and the fidelity of the graphics and all of the movement and stuff. And look how real it looks. Like how the Matrix like revolutionized movies and stuff. And Keanu Reeves he's on the screen. Look, I like Keanu as much as the next guy, but he's not saving this reveal. The little shots you get during this trailer are the opening scene. After this plays, you don't get much. You get to walk around the city and do a bunch of randomness. It's a tech demo. I mean, there wasn't much here. It's just to show off Unreal Engine 5, which is fine, but to end the Game Awards with it? I mean, credit where credit's due, it looks good. Way better than Fast and Furious Crossroads. And if you're a fan of The Matrix, I imagine you did get a kick out of this. But I still don't think it should have ended the Game Awards. I understand it's a tech demo for Unreal Engine 5, and that's pretty huge, but you can't even play this tech demo anymore. It got delisted the very next year. So, I think this should have been something in the middle of the show, not the end. Hold up, I do want to devil's advocate myself just a bit here. The Matrix Awakens did come out the very same night the Game Awards ended, so you could make the argument, oh, it's not here for a long time, it's here for a good time. Fair enough, but that doesn't beat the argument it should have been in the middle of the show. Keanu Reeves was on your screen and it's The Matrix. Just let people download it early and then once the show's over, bam, they instantly get access. They'll remember. And because it ended, I think I'm gonna have to give it a D tier. I'm sorry, Keanu. I'm so sorry! Now we're talking. 2022 Game Awards ends with gameplay for Final Fantasy 16. Yes, sir. And not just that, the trailer looks good, you get some story elements, and a release date with a month, day, and year? Oh my god! Final Fantasy 16 was a very highly anticipated Final Fantasy game. It did manage to come out, people really like this game. It's not everyone's favorite, but I hear a lot of good reception for this one. It's a very beloved Final Fantasy. I think this is a great way to end the Game Awards. It had everything you pretty much wanted for a final reveal. Trailer looked great. You got a date. You got a year. Like, come on, man. This is A tier. I'm gonna give it an A tier. I don't think it's as big as like Joker or Breath of the Wild, but like, I think this is pretty high up there. "2023 ends with Monster Hunter Wilds reveal trailer. This is pretty good. This trailer pulls a Metro Exodus where it doesn't necessarily show the gameplay, it's more just the character moving around the map. You get to see him riding on the monster, some of the monsters interacting with each other, and like the world, like there's lightning coming down, all that. I feel that's enough. You would like to see gameplay, but like at least I can see the game. I can see what the game's gonna look like. Monster Hunter Wilds, highly anticipated. A big Monster Hunter game like Monster Hunter World. It came out, people liked it. I think this is a very good way to end the Game Awards as well. I'm gonna give it an A tier. I feel like Final Fantasy showed off a bit more to where I can rank it a bit higher. But Monster Hunter's established series. People know what they're getting into with Monster Hunter. I could put this in A tier. 2024 Game Awards ends with Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet. Oh boy, let's talk about this. Right off the bat, this game is fighting a real uphill battle. I understand that it's from the studio that brought you Crash Bandicoot and Uncharted and The Last of Us. It's still a new IP. And I feel with a new IP, you have to take a big swing. You gotta show us something to really get us going. That would mean gameplay. Now I understand, like, it's showing in-game cinematic, and the game looks good, alright? But I feel like I can say that for a lot of games that this studio has pumped out. So fine, I need to see more. And I understand I really harp on this whole gameplay thing, but gameplay really is important for trailers, man, especially if we're talking new IP. It's not that big if you're an established IP, because I can at least kind of get an idea of what this game might be about. Take, for example, Metro Exodus. Metro Exodus just showed in-game cinematic. It was literally just looking at the map and of the character walking around. But that's an established series. I know what that's probably going to play like. I've seen the other games, so I can kind of connect the dots. And yet, Joker in Smash Bros. Was just a cinematic DLC trailer, but come on, man. That was Super Smash Bros. That's a Smash reveal. You know how Smash Bros. Is gonna play. The game's about to come out. The only things I could take away from this is we're in space, it's going for some retro aesthetics, she's bald, and she's a bounty hunter. That's about it. I don't know what else to take away from this trailer. The last itty tiny snippet did kind of show that she has a sword, and she's gonna use it. Cool. How is she gonna use it? Is it gonna be fun? Let me see the gameplay. I don't know what to make of this. Now, I know a lot of people like to make fun of this game. Haha, funny bald lady. Haha, she's not hot. But let's slow down for a minute, because there are some generally interesting things. For example, the sword. And I noticed she has a gun. So maybe the combat will be interesting. And I do like this aesthetic they're going for. The retro anime, the ship. Like, it gives me the idea that we're gonna have some retro vibes, like retro space sci-fi vibes. That sounds cool. But
Not enough.
again, because of the Mass Effect will continue thing, where the game's not out, I am gonna put this in C tier. I'm gonna put it higher than Mass Effect because at least we're seeing something. It's more than just cinematic CGI cutscene. It's in-game look at the game. Just new gameplay, which, whatever, fine. But because it's a new IP, and because I feel you need to strike a little harder when you're dealing with those, you didn't strike hard enough. I'm gonna put you in C tier. Maybe the game will come out, people will put Jordan at the top of the pedestal as one of the greatest pro tags in gaming. I'm not gonna bet on that, but hope for the best for this game. And that leaves us with 2025's High Guard. It's all been building up to this. What do I think about High Guard? I can't believe I'm saying this. You gotta put some respect on Intergalactic's name. At least I had something to talk about. There's nothing to say here. It's so bland and generic that I just have nothing to say. It's a hero shooter. It's a hero shooter. You know, that's all I can say. It's another hero shooter. Ironically enough, this and Intergalactic have the exact opposite problem for me. Intergalactic looks interesting, but there's no gameplay, so I don't care to talk about it any further. High Guard's problem is that they showed gameplay, but it doesn't look interesting, so I don't want to talk about it. And I mean, looking at the gameplay, it looks fine. The riding horses, that could be fun, maybe. There's destruction, that could be fun, maybe. But everything else just looks so boring and basic. There's nothing that makes me go, wow, I'm just straight-faced. I'm straight-facing right now. And I saw a comment, disrespectful by the way, that was like, ChatGPT, make me a hero shooter with fancy elements. And that's disrespectful. There are AI games that I would not put in the same tier as this. But they are spitting. And on the topic of it being a hero shooter, guys, it's not 2017 anymore. This would have worked back then when the hero shooter genre wasn't saturated to death. That said, you can make hero shooters work nowadays, but the problem with this one is, it's just not interesting. It doesn't look interesting. Overwatch didn't just become popular because it was a fun game. That was a big reason, but it was also because the characters looked interesting. The cinematics looked interesting. The world looked interesting. People were interested. Marvel Rivals is very benefited by the fact that there are Marvel characters and they are popular. But Avengers has showed us that doesn't always work. So you want to know why a hero shooter like Marvel Rivals worked? Because the characters looked interesting. The game looked interesting. The world looked interesting. The art style was interesting. People were invested. And all those things were not in Concord. The game didn't look interesting. The characters didn't look interesting. The gameplay wasn't bad, but it wasn't interesting. That's the problem. However, after saying all of this, I don't think it's the worst world premiere at the Game Awards of all time. I just think it's not interesting. Fast and Furious Crossroads and The Matrix Awakens are both established IPs. Fast and Furious and Matrix are beloved. People love those IPs and would gravitate towards those games. But one of them looks like trash. The other one was barely a game. I don't really think those are better than High Guard. However, I do think it is C tier. I feel there's just not much to say about this. This is a reveal you would watch and probably forget the very next day. And most of you probably did. But just like Intergalactic, just like the Mass Effect will continue, the game's not out yet. So until the game does come out, however long it lasts, I can't really say any much more about this game. So wishing you the best. And there you have it, my list for the final world premieres at the Game Awards. I don't mind if new IP ends the Game Awards. I just hope they're interesting. I just hope they show more than just a cinematic. I just need more to chew on, man. I feel IPs that already had games get legs up. This is why I feel Okami 2 or the new Mega Man game would have had a better chance of ending the Game Awards and receiving positive reception because those were already established. We know what Okami's gonna play like. It's most likely gonna have similar things from the last game. We know how this Mega Man's gonna play. You're showing us. But I hope the games that aren't out will be good. And I hope the next reveals that end the Game Awards will also be good. Tell me what you think about this list. Did you really love Intergalactic and put it in S tier? Or are you saying that Joker is overrated and it should be D tier? You'd be wrong, but that's okay. Anyway, I'm out.